the study. Today I'm going to show you a book about sailing. Illustrated Dictionary of Sailing Terms. In 9 languages: English, French, German, Dutch, Danish, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and Greek. I'm not confident about my pronunciation in some of the languages, so I'm going to confine it to English, French, and German, and maybe some Italian. We'll see. Let's open the book. There are the contents. The boat. Ready for sea. Going to sea. Repairing your boat. Safety and security. And general points. And here we have the color codes for the languages. And a short introduction. So it describes going on a sailing trip of your dreams, on a long passage, but then you encounter other countries, and here you will have some help. So let's start with le bateau, the boat. Éléments du bateau, yachts, or parts of the boat. So the diagram is in English. We have the stern, the cockpit, the port side, the boom. Is this a line that we're missing? Oh, those are the stays. And we have the coach roof. So even esoteric terms that we don't use very often are here. The mast, the deck, the bow, the hull, starboard side, keel, bilges, rudder, and transom. Let's have a look at the other languages. Poop. Very nice. So stern. En français c'est poupe. Espagnol popa. So little. And you can see the Romance languages all have very same Italian popa and Portuguese popa. However, the German is heck. So I think you'll begin to see as we go through this book that many of the English sailing and navigational terms come from the German and a very few from the French. Cockpit. What is the cockpit? Auf Deutsch, Cockpit. Aber French. I don't know why I love the way it sounds. Bâbord. And we have the mât en français. Auf Deutsch, der Mast. Deck auf Deutsch. And we have the Bug or bow. And starboard in German, Steuerbord. Port side in German, backboard. And interestingly, in French, bâbord, which we talked about already, and tribord, côté bâbord, côté tribord. There's a reason for that, and it has to do with the ancient ships, or the ships of the ancient world. They were steered by a long tiller and a rudder that was over the side of the boat, or the starboard side, what in German is called the Steuerbord, or the steering side. And the port side was the side of the boat that would pull up to the docks or the port. Alright, let's move on. Alright, we've got dinghies now, so not yachts, but dériveurs. Mainsail, jib. We'll just do the important parts. Spinnaker, shoot. So that's where, if you have an automatic spinnaker, you pull the line and it hoists itself. Poof. And you might have a spinnaker pole or a bowsprit. The modern dinghies are very nice because they just go in when you pull the lines. The older ones, you actually had to pull the bowsprit out or the spinnaker boom and attach it, and then when you jibed, you had to switch it. But this is much easier. And we have a tiller and a lifting rudder, or oh yes, there's our tiller and there's the rudder. And we've got a main sheet oars. We don't have our daggerboard. Alright, so mainsail, grand voile, and auf Deutsch Großsegel, very easy. Groß being large or big, Segel, sail, Großsegel. And same in French, grand voile. Pardon my pronunciation, grand voile, the big sail. Now it gets a little bit complicated. Jib. What in the world does jib mean? This is really cute because we used to have loads of fun when I was sailing in Berlin. In German and in French, it's a fock. And if you were crewing, or if you were skipping, you could yell at your crew. I think you can imagine some of the commands you would yell about the fock. Oh. Okay. And the tiller, auf Deutsch die Pinne, and en français bar. Very descriptive. Rudder, of course. What do we have there? The rudder, yeah, Ruder, or Hubruder, because you can lift it, Hub, but Ruder. And in French, Safran, and to lift it out, Relevable. Let's see what we've got in Italian. skip those because we're looking for real sailing, real boating. So these are types of boats. Hard chine, round bilge, planing hull, fin keel, daggerboard, centerboard, long keel, lifting bulb keel, trimaran, bilge keel. That is made to sit on its keel when it goes into places where the tide goes completely out and the boat sits on the dry ground. Well, it's probably wet mud. Lots of places in the North Sea, along the northern coast of Western Europe and the English Channel, have areas where the tide goes completely out. Inflatable rib and catamaran. Let's see if we can find these in French and German. Something interesting. Daggerboard, dériveur léger, centerboard, dériveur, simplement, and fin, dinghy, auf Deutsch, daggerboard, you guessed it, Schwert, not a small dagger in German, but a sword, Schwert. Cool, that's really cool, I like that. Finkeel, Schwertkeel, Swordkeel. Almost looks like that, doesn't it? Finkeel, en français, kiel, dérivé, or dérive. Fixé, kiel fixé. Ah, P-kiel. And auf Deutsch Katamaran. And this one, Trimaran. Und auf Deutsch Trimaran. Trimaran. Trying to change my accent from French to German. You're welcome to make fun of it. Okay. Now we have materials in boat construction. Pretty boring. Construction of wooden boats. Different planking. So I don't even know a lot of those in English. But we're going to stay with yachting today. There is the deck. Right. So we have, that's going to be the furling for the Genoa or head sail, roller furling. And these metal bits here are called the pulpit, foredeck, instrument panel, depending on your boat, they'll be in a different place, guardrail, you can call that different things as well. And we have a bow roller. Some boats have them, some don't. Forehatch, side deck. I don't think anybody really says that unless your boat's huge. Stanchion. Some people call them push pins. Winch. All the winches. And the compass binnacle, which these days is usually a touch screen satellite navigation system. And here, the cockpit combing. Very technical. You hardly ever hear that in everyday speech. And there's the other push pits. So yeah, stanchions and push pins. So, we forgot the steering wheel. Bar, a roue. So instead of a tiller, bar, this is a roue, or Radesteuerung. because it's made out of metal cable. And our instrument panel. Instrumentenpanel. Panel. Yep, and en français, c'est tableau de bord. Tableau de bord. Vordeck. Back. Auf Deutsch. Und pont avant. Pont avant. So, pont deck. Very easy. Winch is winch. En français. Compass. En français, c'est compass. But we get some really interesting ones in German. Let's go through them. Of course, we have the back, which we had, and the Aufrollspule. Aufrollspule. You just put words together in German, which makes it a very interesting and easy language. Und das ist für der Vorsegel, or the headsail, or Genoa, probably. And then we have the pulpit, or the Kanzel. You have the same thing in churches, the Kanzel. Kanzel and pulpit. Let's see, what other interesting things do we have? Combing cockpit. Cockpitsöl. Cockpitsöl. Kompassgehäuse. And Vorhatch. Vordere Lücke. With a forehole. Alright. Now we have rigging differently rigged boats. These are fun. So here we have a Bermudan sloop. You can see the head sail is there. A gaff cutter. This is the gaff sail, so it's gaff rigged. It's like an upside down sail on the top of the mast. This is a lug rig, so it's got this lug sail. A gunter rig. As you can see, the foresail has got its own little, it's on the mast, whereas the mainsail has a spar. A yawl, it's a triangular sail on a smaller mast near the stern. And a ketch. What is the difference between a yawl and a ketch? Well, it has to do with the jibs or flying jibs. And this one looks raked. I can't really describe this very well here, but you can see the flying jibs don't go as high as the main, whereas the yawl, it goes all the way up. And if it comes back, it could be a Genoa. But the ketch just has the short flying jibs, and this is not a sail there, that's just a forestay. So you have the mainsail, and then the two flying jibs. A schooner, which has the shorter mast forward of the main. Una rig, very easy, one rig, one sail, one mast. Sprit rig, so there you've got not only gaff sail and a gaff sail, the mizzen, but at the stern you also have a flying jib connected to the sprit, the bowsprit. The bark, we have two masts, top masts there, and a little sort of a square rigged or lug rig sail in the back. And the brig, two larger masts and a smaller mast near the stern, and three flying jibs. All the rigging. Alright, let's see what they are in French. Bermudan sloop, en français sloop des Bermudes, and auf Deutsch Bermuda sloop. it's logger. Kind of reminds me of the shrew boats in Redwall, the log boats, the log. Auf Deutsch logger. But en français, c'est gréement de voile rectangulaire. Gréement de voile, sail, rectangulaire. Gunterrig. Well, surprise, surprise. In German it's Steilgaffel. I don't know why that one I don't know the answer to. And en français, gréement ouari. A yawl. Jolle. Auf Deutsch, Jolle. Sounds better in German than it does in English, and I think it's come from that. It's Jolle, Jolle. Mais en français, c'est yawl. Comme ça. Catch. En français, c'est catch. Auf Deutsch, catch. Schooner. En français, Jolette. Und auf Deutsch, Schooner. Una rig. Una Takelung auf Deutsch. And in French, it's cat boat. I don't know why. Cat boat. Another mystery for me. Sorry, I don't have the information about a cat boat. Sprit rig. If you do, you know some of this, do leave a comment because I would love to hear your comments on these little names. So, sprit rig, en français, gréement, alivarde. And auf Deutsch, our sprit rig. Sprit, Takelung. Bach. En français, c'est Bach. C'est la même chose. Et auf Deutsch, Bach, as in woof woof bark. Bach. And last but not least, brig. Auf Deutsch, brig. 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 Et en français, c'est brick. Brick. Almost breton, that one. Let's see if there's anything interesting in Italian. I'm sure there's loads of interesting things in the Dutch or the Danish, Spanish, Portuguese, and Greek. But let's have a look at the Italian. Brigantino, Apollo, Brigantino, and sloop Bermudiano. Ketch con bomba a forcella. What a beautiful language. Let's look at the rigging. So we talked about some of these already. Bowsprit, mast, spinnaker pole, foremast. I think we've done most of these. Running rigging and standing rigging. Now these are going to be the ropes. Topping lift, shroud, halyards, forestay, jib sheet, jib forestay, bobstay, bowsprit, shroud, runners, main sheet. This will be good. Types of sail. Spinnaker. Auf Deutsch sagen meisten Spie. Spie. Short for spinnaker. Spinnaker. Spie. Spie. Et en français aussi, spie. Spie. But in both German and French, spinnaker. Mainsail. The mainsail. Grand voile we had before, or Großsegler. Then we have staysails and Genoa. So the Genoa, the bigger one. En français c'est Genoa. Und auf Deutsch Genua. Not so different, is it? So we have our mainmast and mizzenmast. So most of the rigging on the mizzen is going to say mizzen topsail, gaff mainsail, mizzen staysail, jib topsail, staysail, topsail. And we've done those ones. And this is below decks, or what they've got in English, accommodation general, but I would just say below decks. We have the aft cabin and the fore cabin or fore peak or forecastle, which is short for forward castle, forecastle. Chain locker for the anchor. Head, which is where you find the toilet. Hanging locker, so anything with a door is called a locker, not a cupboard. The galley is the kitchen. Right, and what else? Ah, the main saloon, that's a good one. Nav area or chart table. So those are the main ones. Let's see what they are. The aft cabin, cabine arrière, or achtere cabine, acht, aft. Companionway, so getting up to the deck or the cockpit is the escalier, menant cabine, going down to the cabine, or niedergang, going down, nieder, below, gang, to go below. Alright, and the nav area or chart table, we used to call it chart table. Sometimes you'll have some radar instruments there, you'll have your radios, and if it's nicely well apportioned boat, your computer and sat-nav. So, table à carte. So it used to be really big, so you could put a nice big marine chart out there, but they've gotten a lot smaller, unfortunately. And Navigationsbereich oder Kartentisch, auf Deutsch Kartentisch, Tisch being table, Karte, map of course, or chart. Galley, or the kitchen on board. Cuisine, en français, c'est la même chose. Dans la maison, but in English, in the house we call it a kitchen. On the boat it's a galley. Und auf Deutsch Kombüse. Kombüse. Okay, and the head, don't forget the head. The toilette en français. Und auf Deutsch we have Toilette. Okay, forepeak. Forepeak. Cabine avant. Very easy. Cabine avant. Cabine arrière. Achtere Kabine. Vorpeak oder vordere Kabine. Then we have the kitchen or the galley, or fire extinguishers and food shelves, glass racks. The chart table, zone navigation. Oh, I said it in Spanish, sorry, navigation. En français, s'il vous plaît. Okay. Und auf Deutsch, let's see. Let's start. Speed repeater. It's just your speed, so you will have different speed readouts there. Your apparent speed, your velocity made good, wind speed, blah blah blah. Okay, just a speed repeater. And it's very easy. En français, c'est répétiteur de vitesse. Und auf Deutsch Geschwindigkeitsanzeige, which means exactly the speed reading out doohickey. I think there's some really good words for doohickey in German. One of my favorites is just Dinghies, but there we go. Let's not go there. Log repeater. So your log is like the mileage on your car. Okay. Log Anzeige. Anzeige is display. And en français, répétiteur de log or log. That almost sounds Breton to me too, and I have to wonder if a lot of French sailing terms come from the Breton. A light, einfach Licht, éclairage, chart plotter. There's your little touch screen and sat nav there, chart plotter, Karten plotter, or en français, traceur de carte. Tank contents monitor. Well, there are going to be several tanks. Fuel, water, holding, réservoir en français. And auf Deutsch we've got Zellenfüllstandsanzeige, which is very complicated, but it means exactly that. Zellen for the tank. Füll, how high, the level. Standsanzeige, what level display. Then we have our radio, VHF, DSC. Auf Deutsch DSC. V. Oh, sorry. VHF. DSC. VHF. Radio. Mais en français, c'est le VHF. ASN. The DSC. It's for longer range. 240 volt ring main socket. Okay, so you want to plug something in. Everybody plugs in their phone to charge it there. So what do we call that? Auf Deutsch eine Steckdose. Prise-Sektor. That's about all we really need there. And this is the saloon, or en français, salon. Yeah. And I think that's pretty straightforward. Going to sea, setting sail. There are the knots. Let's have a look at some knots. We'll do the ones we use most often, the bowline, the clove hitch, the round turn and 2 half hitches, reef knot, rolling hitch, cleat hitch, and sheet bend and figure of 8. So those are the ones I would use all the time. The others, not quite so often. So, bowline. En français, nœud de chaise. Because you can use this bowline to tie yourself into the bosun's chair, le chaise, and go up the mast. And auf Deutsch boulen. Clove hitch, en français nœud de capstan. And auf Deutsch, the knots are going to be really weird. Mastwurf or Webleinensteg. Alright, this one's going to be funny. The round turn and 2 half hitches. Auf Deutsch Rundturn mit 2 halben Schlagen. Or here, we always called it halben Schlagen in Berlin, but here they've got an umlaut, halben Schlägen. Rundturn mit 2 halben Schlägen. En français, un tour mort et 2 demi-clés. So, 1 dead turn and 2 half keys. En français, demi-clés. And un tour mort. Very nice. Reef knot. What should we do for a reef knot? En français, nœud plat. Und auf Deutsch, Kreuzknoten. Kreuzknoten. Kreuz, across. The knot crosses itself. 2 ropes, so we'll do some knots soon. And where have we got to? Rolling hitch. Double capstan. And belegen. Sheet bend. Nœud d'écoute. Und auf Deutsch, Schottsteck. Schottsteck. Cleat hitch. Nœud d'attaquer. Nœud d'attaquer. Deutsch 8 Knoten. And en français, nœud d'aiguille. Nœud d'aiguille. Points of sail. Alright, so we've done this before. Luffing head to wind. Close hold on the wind bearing. So your port tack. Beam reach or sailing free. Broad reach, sailing off the wind. And running before the wind. Again, a broad reach, beam reach, and close reach. When the bow goes through the wind when you turn, it's called tacking. When the stern goes through the wind, it's jibing. What do we have en français? Loffer, face au vent, luffing. Loffer, face au vent. Und auf Deutsch anlüfen, zum Wind drehen. Okay, drehen to turn, zum Wind to the wind. And we have close hold. Au plus près bâbord. Okay, so bâbord, we've got a port tack. A close reach, starboard tack will be au plus près tribord rameur. Und auf Deutsch am Wind and am Wind. So no distinction whether you're port or starboard tack in German there, just like in English. A beam reach. Halber Wind auf Deutsch. So the half of the wind gauge. And en français c'est travers. Travers, across the wind. And the broad reach. Broad reach. Raumschutz. Auf Deutsch et en français c'est grand largue. Grand largue. Very nice. I love that word, largue. And running before the wind, so going straight downwind, is vor dem Wind segeln. Exactly the same in English. Sailing, running before the wind. Et en français, c'est vent arrière. The wind is behind you. Tacking. Kreuzen. Cross the wind. Auf Deutsch. And jibing. Halsen. Jibing. En français, tacking, c'est le voyage. And jibing, empennage. Trimming your sails. All kinds of good things to know there, even if you haven't learned them in English yet. Maneuvering under sail. Windward, leeward, helm, crew, bear away. Let's get some more pictures. Coming up, taking the boat out of the water, towing it, and a race course. Look at that. Let's finish with a race. There's the committee boat. We'll start with number 1, our flags. What do these flags mean? So the committee boat, we'll usually put them up, but depending on the flag. I think all of these are committee boats except the protest one. So, individual recall, abandoned race, general recall, everybody come back, start again, postponement, so abandon and postponement, to tell the boats about the race. Then a protest, usually a boat will fly that flag if they're protesting another boat. Then the other two are committee disqualified and preparatory, they're preparing. nice triangular course. We have the wind coming this way and race course. So we're going to have a term for race course. Here is our windward mark. It's towards the wind. Then we're going to be, remember that point of sail? We're going to be broad reach there. And we're going to jibe around the jibe mark. And we get to the leeward mark or leeward mark. And then we're going to tack up that way. So there's the start line, usually between the committee boat and a Dan buoy or some mark there. Alright, let's see what these are. Flags, Pavillon, oder auf Deutsch Flaggen, Flaggen, und individual recall, Einzelrückruf, Einzel, one, individual, back, ruf, call. Okay. Et en français, c'est rappel individuel, rappel, callback. Abandoned race, Abbruch auf Deutsch. And en français, c'est très simple, abandon. General recall, Gesamtrückruf, Gesamt general. En français, rappel général. Postponement, Startsverschiebung, pushing the start, Verschiebung. And en français, départ retardé, postpone, départ, the start, retardé, has been postponed or slowed down. Protest. En français, Reklamation. Und auf Deutsch, ganz einfach, Protest. Disqualified. En français, Disqualification. Et auf Deutsch, disqualified. It's not a German word at all. Preparatory flag. Départ dans 5 minutes. So that's our 5-minute flag. Some clubs will have 3-minute flags. And 10-minute flags as well. This one, they're calling a 5-minute flag, so preparatory flag. You'll know what it is before you start the race. Auf Deutsch. Wir haben Vorbereitungssignal. Vorbereitung is preparation. Signal, signal or flag. Race course. Trace du course. Or auf Deutsch Rennkurs. Very easy. Race course. Or start line. Auf Deutsch Startlinie. Startlinie. Und ich en français ligne de départ. Okay. The committee boat. Auf Deutsch Comité, Boot. Et en français bateau comité. Alright, let's go to the windward mark. Luftboje. Boje. Auf Deutsch Luft. Okay. Windward mark. Marque au vent. The mark of the wind. En français, marque au vent. The jibe mark. En français, marque d'empannage. We already heard jibe. En français. German, Wendeboje. Und leeward mark. Lee-boje. Et en français, c'est le marque sous le vent. Under the wind. Marque or boy. We say boy for sailing and racing. We usually say marque. And then we come to the finish across from the committee boat. So I hope you've enjoyed this whispered run through a few sailing terms in the multilingual illustrated dictionary. I hope it's been fun for you and you've been able to enjoy a little time time out from your busy day. I hope it's been relaxing. I know races aren't terribly relaxing, but you won, so you get the champagne and the prize money. Be good to yourself. Be kind to others. And remember, you're always welcome in the study. And outside the study, be extra